Today's episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by Zombie Kid Jonathan. I like turtles.
Your next vacation time is so far away. You're counting down the seconds every single day. What are you to do? Well, there's one venue I recommend you turn to, where your magic withdrawal will finally be cured. Spend 3 days a week with Super Walt Disney World nerds. You can depend on Matt, Mike, and WTW today. Oh,
It's Friday, March 21st, 2008, and this is episode 386 of Walt Disney World Today. I am Matt Hochberg from StudioCentral.com. On today's show, we have Mike Scopa of allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Now, as I understand it, Matt, all you do is drop the object into the chamber, and you press the button, and presto.
Drop the object. Wow, I'm totally blanking on this.
Actually, what if I had said, now, as I understand it, Nick, all you do is drop the object into the chamber and press the button.
Honey, I Shrunk the Audience?
Yes.
Very good. And once again, everyone's ditched us tonight. The only person I could find was Soundboard Len. Welcome to the show again, Soundboard Len.
Howdy ho, Matt.
No soundboard Newell, huh?
No.
Ooh, so sorry.
Thank you, Soundboard Len. On today's show, we're talking about dining options in the Magic Kingdom, because I think, Mike, you would agree with me that of all the parks, if you had to sit down and force yourself to eat in one of the parks, the Magic Kingdom is the hardest of all the parks, really, to find food in, because it's kind of limited. You would agree with me on that, right?
One of the problems, Matt, is that it's this. I'm not sure. Is it smaller than the studios? Pretty close. They're pretty close in size, but what the problem is with the Magic Kingdom is that there, and this has been a discussion over the last few years, that there is a need for at least one more sit-down restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, and the studios is a little bit smaller than the Magic Kingdom, and so what we thought we would talk about today is taking land by land in the Magic Kingdom, going over the best option based on one of three criteria. And the criteria we have are fastest service, meaning, what's the best option in terms of getting your food the fastest, best value, what's going to be the best food for the money, and the best food quality. And today's episode, we're going to be dealing with Fantasyland. Now, Fantasyland has a lot of different options in it, actually. When we started the show, I thought about I picked Fantasyland kind of arbitrarily, but I think it does actually have a lot more options than you would think of. Now, there is a sit-down option in Fantasyland, and it's Cinderella's Royal Table. Now, I had not eaten there, Mike. Have you?
No, the last time I ate there was, I think, before you were born, Matt. I think it was called King Stephan's Banquet Hall. I've never eaten there because I personally don't believe the food is worth the cost.
Absolutely.
And I've heard this from many people. I think one of the reasons why it has always been successful is that for first timers bringing their small child to Disney World, the dream is to eat in the castle and to see Cinderella. I don't believe it gets that much repeat business for a number of reasons: price, and the quality of the food that you're getting for the price.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Mike. My fiance has always wanted to eat here, and I've put my foot down on this one purely because of how expensive it is. Not only do you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for dinner, they force you to buy a photo over there, and that really that bothers me quite a bit. I don't think any place should force you to buy a group photo.
That's part of the package, right, Matt? You don't even have a choice, do you?
Yeah, there is no choice. You have to get it. And obviously the price is included in your package. With Soundboard Len here, I also have Soundboard Len's faithful little book, The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And in it, Len writes, for reasons unknown to many, Cinderella's Royal Table is perhaps the most coveted dining spot at Disney World. Just the cachet of dining in Cinderella Castle in the Magic Kingdom with a bevy of characters makes it hot, hot, hot. He really did write that.
Really?
The cuisine is mediocre, but it's the fanciest full-service restaurant in the Magic Kingdom, and there's always a crowd.
And for those who aren't aware of the price, it's $34 for breakfast for adults, and for children 3 through 9, it's $23 per child for breakfast.
It's it's expensive. That's been primarily the reason why I haven't gone there. The food also, like Len mentioned in the book, it's mediocre. So it's not like it's like, say, Le Cellier type food, and then you can kind of say, well, I'll splurge and go for it. But really, when the food is overpriced and mediocre, I mean, that's the dual combo right there for me. That just says I'm not going there.
Yeah, and as Allen Iverson would say, we're talking about breakfast.
We're talking about practice here. Practice.
Not dinner, not lunch. Practice.
Very nice. Let's move on to... let's go to the Village Fry Shop. And that's, of course, located in Fantasyland.
That's basically McDonald's, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, since it is sponsored by McDonald's. You've got a couple different options over here. You've got hot dog and fries, basically. A number of drink options. And then some snacks like Jell-O, carrot cake come into to play over here. What it is an easy way to get a quick meal. Personally, if I'm getting a hot dog in the Magic Kingdom, I'm going to Casey's Corner. I love the hot dogs over there. I haven't even bothered going anywhere else because it's quite simply a much better option over there. But what did you have you been here recently, Mike?
I think last time. No, I don't think I ever have.
See, the problem is, this is McDonald's fries is what they serve. And there's a cult out there. It really is a cult of people who live and swear by McDonald's French fries. I think they're good. I think they're fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with McDonald's French fries, but I don't go out of my way to get them. And certainly there's some people who go to Walt Disney World, and I think every park has a place or two where you can get authentic McDonald's French fries, like it's going to lead to the end of the world otherwise. I don't know. Obviously, we're not one of those people, but there are some people literally who are just adamant about their French fries, and it has to be from McDonald's, or it's just the end of the world, or they just don't eat French fries. I guess I don't know.
Have you ever compared the hot dog that you get at the Village Fry Shop with the one? I think it's a quarter-pound hot dog you get at Casey's. I know that they're both the same price, but I've never noticed if you get more for your money at one more.
Well, I do know that at Casey's you have a Fixins bar, and you can put sauerkraut on there, which I love. I'm a sauerkraut fiend. I could live off sauerkraut. I am to sauerkraut what some people are to McDonald's fries, I guess you could say. I mean, that's how important it is to me, certainly. And that's a major factor right there. Now, of course, we're not talking about Casey's. We're talking about the Village Fry Shop. Clearly, if you have a hankering for fries and you want them to be McDonald's, this is a good spot for it, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. It's one of those areas that you probably have an opportunity to get something really quick. Although, if there are a lot of people thinking the same, you may find yourself in a line. But basically, you probably within 15 or 20 minutes will be able to get your food and have a quick meal and get on with your park touring. So
absolutely. Let's move on to Mrs. Potts Cupboard, and this is again Fantasyland. This is right by. This is between, if I'm not mistaken, Winnie the Pooh and Snow White.
Yeah, it's right across from. I want to say Dumbo. Is it right near Dumbo?
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. It's either across from that. I think it actually might be a little shifted over, like between Dumbo and where 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea used to be.
Right.
And that might be the.
The only problem with this is that right now I believe it's just like ice cream and things like that.
Yeah,
I don't think it's food.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real food.
Yeah, no, it's basically desserts, but it's great desserts over here. I mean, considering that, generally speaking, outside of a sit-down restaurant, your only options for desserts, really, per se, are, the ice cream stands, like the Mickey bars or whatever.
Yeah.
This, you can get a fudge brownie sundae, a strawberry shortcake, a regular ice cream sundae, what I guess, I don't know, you call them a soda float, ice cream float? I forget what you call them anymore.
Ice cream float, usually.
Yeah, milkshake. You can get regular old soft serve. It's a great option. I think it's a great option if you want dessert. And you don't want to go to, because the sit-down restaurants obviously have great options for that. But if you want to, you just say, hey, you have a hankering for an ice cream sundae and you don't want to go to a sit-down restaurant or leave the park, I think it's a great option over there.
You know what's funny? I've noticed that this particular counter does not have a quick service counter. Does not have the what is it called? The ice cream cookie that you can find in other parts of the park. And I think this ice cream cookie you could find, well, before it was Edie's, it was Seal Test. You could find it there, and you could also find it in Liberty Square. And I thought that Fantasyland had it, but apparently they don't have that.
It should be noted that in the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, it gives Mrs. Potts Cupboard a pretty good review. It's good quality, value of B, and medium portion size. So if you've ever read the unofficial guide, that's about as glowing a recommendation as it gets.
Never touch it.
So certainly that's going to be, I think that might be a contender for me. Now, the next restaurant I want to talk about is one that I personally don't get, or as Ray and Cindy would say, get. This is Pinocchio's Village House. And this has again, another cult following follows this one. And it's for one particular item over there, and I think you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the Figaro fries.
Oh.
And okay, maybe you didn't know what I was talking about.
No, I didn't.
The Figaro fries, it's one of those things that is like, if you participate in online communities and you've been around for a little while, you've probably seen it pop up once or twice. And certainly I was among those people. People mentioned Figaro fries. And Figaro fries are basically French fries with a ton of stuff thrown on top of them. I mean, it's hard to
like cheese and stuff.
Yeah, let me get the official description of what they are, because I looked at it. I went over there, and where's the? Of course not. Oh, there. French fries served with bacon, cheddar cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Wow.
Now, yeah. So now for me, it violates two taboos for dining for me with bacon and cheddar cheese together. But this has evidently it's it's the bee's knees, so to speak, if I can borrow a 20s term to describe.
It sounds like, I was going to say, Matt, what you just described with Figaro fries, we in New England call it nachos.
It's an interesting option. The other thing the one thing I do like about Pinocchio Village House is I call it the poor man's Garden Grill, because if you've ever been to the Garden Grill, it's a restaurant that gives you a viewing area of a ride. In that case, the land ride, Living with the Land, and
Yep.
you get to peer over and see into the scenes. Here, if you get a particular table, you can actually look right into the load area for It's a Small World. And obviously you don't, it's much cheaper, so that's why I call it the poor man's garden grill, because it gives you that opportunity to sit over there. When I ate there, with two researchers for the unofficial guide, Josh and Sarah. It was a little bit earlier this year. We specifically got a table right over there by the window so we could look in and kind of people watch. It's great for that. If you enjoy people watching, I mean, it's very interesting because you get to see the ride being loaded and everything. You get to see all these people, and all the people that are coming on the ride, once they leave the load area, they'll be facing you. They'll be coming right at you before they make the turn into the ride, and many of them wave to you. It's great for kids. I think kids would love it over there because it's built on entertainment, and they'll be eating, and it's much cheaper than eating at the Garden Grill. In the Garden Grill, you can't see them really. The people really can't see you as much as the people can see. You can see them because of the angle at which you're positioned.
Right.
So I like it. Some of the food they have over here. You got pizza, which I'm not a big fan. I don't like Disney World pizza at all. They used to have the fried chicken strips. I'm assuming now they're chicken nuggets, and that's a whole other discussion. They have the panini over here. I've had the panini, which is real. I like that quite a bit. Have you had the panini yet?
Yeah, that's the only thing I usually get when I go in there, Matt. I don't really trust the Caesar salad with chicken is not too bad.
Yep.
Actually, the Caesar salads and the Mediterranean salad, it's usually found everywhere in the park, but this is the only place where you can get that panini, and I really enjoy it too.
Yep. We should mention the unofficial guide. Its comments are, it's always hot and crowded with several cash registers open. The Village House is a place when it's possible to have your food, but no place to sit and eat it.
That's correct.
Yeah, it is very small. I mean, when I mentioned the tables that overlook Small World, we're talking about 3 or 4, I think, and the rest are, again, it's slim pickings. So certainly, if you're trying to get here in the middle of the day, in the summertime, you'll be able to get your food, but you're either gonna have to wait to sit down.
I'm glad you mentioned about the
you're
tables,
gonna
Matt,
be eating it
because
somewhere.
there are people who will say to friends who are going down, if you go to the Pinocchio Village House and you think it's crowded, you can always go upstairs. There are tables upstairs, but if you go upstairs, you'll notice that there are maybe 4, 5, or 6. There really is not that much, but I mean it's worth a try. But that's one of the problems of that restaurant. It has become real popular, and they seem to serve more people than they have tables for. So one of the things I do when I go there is I peek my head in, and if it looks like there is a spot to sit, then and only then will I get food. Otherwise, I won't. And usually I prefer to go with someone so somebody can grab a table and hold it while I get the food or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because what I would do is if you've got someone else in your group, when you're going to order, have someone order and have someone else in your group kind of be the scouter for the table to try to grab one as it becomes available. Because the reality is, although there aren't that many tables, people do get up all the time, and certainly by the time you order your food and actually get it, someone is going to get up more than likely. And if you've got someone who can just grab that table for you as soon as that happens, that'll help quite a bit, I think.
See, this is a fine example, Matt, of what we were saying at the beginning of the show, and that is that the Magic Kingdom needs another sit-down restaurant, and preferably in Fantasyland, where you have families, 4, 5, 6 people in a family, and that is why that restaurant's always it's always full. Obviously, people would prefer to be out of the heat and humidity and in a place where they can, get some air conditioning benefit. And the Pinocchio Village House just can't handle the crowds.
And of course, you got to mention Pinocchio Village House. You have to pronounce it correctly. I always call it the Pinocchio Village House.
House.
And the final place in Fantasyland is Scuttle's Landing. And this offers, it's another this is borderline between what you call a snack and dessert. In the unofficial guide, it's called essentially a snack bar, but not a bad place to grab a drink.
Yeah, basically it's a place to go for a drink.
Yeah, they have some, they have sweet cream cheese pretzel. Wow, that sounds disgusting. To me, at least. They have chips in, and you can also get chocolate chip cookie over there and some beverages. I would think it's a good place to get some drinks. They have some frozen drinks. You've got Sand Castle Coca-Cola, Cherry Breeze, and Ocean Blue Raspberry. And those are those slushy type drinks.
Yeah, Carol and I like to do that. We like to grab those, especially when we go in the summer.
Yep.
They last a long time, and they really cool you down.
Yeah, they are good. They have them, I know at the studios, they have them at PV's Polar Pipeline. They sell those types of drinks. And
right near
Min and Bill's.
Min and Bill's, yep.
Yep. So we've gone over the kind of the overview of the different dining options in Fantasyland. So now we're going to go back to kind of crown the winners over here, and kind of see based on the different categories that we outlined in the beginning. So, Mike, let's start with fastest service. What's the best restaurant if you want the fastest service in Fantasyland?
Again, we're counting counter service as restaurant or snacks. I would say that it would be probably the Village Fry Shop. Fastest service.
Okay, you're gonna go with the Village Fry Shop. I think that's not bad actually. Let's see. I'm gonna go with for fastest service. I'm gonna go with Mrs. Potts Cupboard.
Okay.
It's the reason why I picked that one is because first of all it always seems like there's no one ever there because it serves only dessert. So you're only going to get people who are getting just sweets. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that way you've eliminated people who want like regular food, and I think that'll cut down on lines quite a bit. And even if people who just want like a drink or something, the perception that it's only desserts because that's what they kind of advertise, I think that drives away people from there. So that's why it's my pick for fastest service. What about best value? Now I'm going to go first on this one. Best value, I've got to go with I changed my mind now. Oh, best service. I mean, best value rather. Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Village House, Pinocchio's Village House. I think it's decent value for the food that you're gonna be getting there. I like the paninis. It's not great, but I think given the options that are associated with it there, again, I'm gonna go with that. Although I think I have to give an honorable mention once again to Mrs. Potts. It's not bad. I mean, you considering what you get over there, you can get a fudgy brownie sundae for $3.99, sundae for $3.79, a soda float, ice cream float for $3.69. I mean, these aren't bad prices. I don't think you can get a fudge brownie sundae or any kind of sundae, for that matter, for less than $4 in a sit-down restaurant.
I think you're right.
So I may actually have just changed my mind over there. What say you, Mr. Scopa?
I am going also with the house because I think that they offer not just good value, but the other thing to keep in consideration, Matt, is that when you look at the menu, you actually have 6 entrees to select from, and that combined with the with the quality of the food, to me, offers the best value. So I think that those two, the diversification in the menu and the price and the quality, it just gives me the best value.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. And finally, that leaves us with just one more category, and that's going to be best food quality. I think it's a fairly obvious choice, but I'm not going to judge you, Mike, on this one. I'm going to go with Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, go ahead.
No, unfortunately, you're right. I mean, it's probably the best quality food. However, when it comes to value and service, I mean, it's going to take you, an hour and a half to eat in there, or maybe an hour and 15 minutes. You're paying a lot for what you're getting, but the quality is probably going to be the best quality of the restaurants in the Fantasyland area.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. You said it perfectly, Mike. It's just the best food, albeit expensive and probably going to be slow as anything. So those are our picks. Feel free to discuss them at wdwtoday.com and in the show notes section. You can post a comment right over there. And that'll wraps it up. We have to, of course, thank Soundboard Len for all that he's provided this show.
So glad that you finally recognize my true talents. Thank you so much.
Anytime, Soundboard Len. And that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. Don't forget that you can also visit the Walt Disney World Today wiki at wdwtoday.com on the right-hand side. It's got a lot of great information. If you want explanations of inside jokes, looking up different categories of our past episodes, anything that really kind of explains anything you might have a question about the show, it's a great place to check. We should also mention, while I have you on the line over here, our next live show is coming up very quickly at the end of the month. It's going to be on Sunday, March 30th, 2008 at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So after your tournament bracket just gets destroyed because you picked, a normal, like a 1 seed, and Baylor goes and wins the entire tournament, we're all going to be sulking. So why don't you join us for a live show on
Sunday? Don't have
Sunday,
any Baylor fans out there, do we? I hope.
I hope not. Not anymore. Sunday, March 30th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Und den Win.